everyone, welcome to a new video. If you're new here, I'm Kelsey, my Yorkie Celine. We like fashion and we love handbags. If you do too, definitely hit subscribe and let's jump into this video. So if you clicked on the video today, you are obviously here for a review of the Celine Luggage Phantom Tote. So I'm going to jump right into unveiling this. I've had this for a number of years and I have some mixed feelings about it, which we're going to get into in this video. I'm saying I'm doing an unveiling over an unboxing because I actually purchased this bag pre-loved and it came with just the dust bag, which is fine. I have no qualms about it. I knew that when I purchased it. And for reference, this is from the older collection, so this is before the rebrand, before the restructuring of the luggage totes, and before the whole creative director changeover. So on the dust bag, it's mainly this like off-white color, this really pretty gray tasseling here, and then the logo is the older Celine logo with the accent aigu over the first E, if you can see that there. And this is a really large dust bag. I know that the bag is large, but the dust bag is pretty large and it's very nice quality. I know the new dust bags look a little different and I think they're a little bit thinner, but I haven't purchased a new bag recently from Celine, so let me know if that's not true. And here is the bag itself. So again, this is the Celine Luggage Phantom Tote. It is in all black, and outside of the hardware, it is 100% calfskin. So outer leather, inner leather, overall lining of the bag is calfskin. And this is the largest size in the Celine luggage collection. Again, the luggage bags are still available. They're just restructured, which is a good thing, but the Phantom has been discontinued for some time now, so if you wanted one, you're probably gonna have to look on the pre-loved market, which isn't a bad thing, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, this is the structure of the bag. This is what it looks like. The front here, we have this really pretty, like almost like a robot little face, and then this front little tiny pocket. It is technically functional. I would call it functional for a hair tie or some bobby pins, but that's about it. And then the back mirrors the front, and then it's got these like outer flappy odd looking sides that you can certainly push in. And so even though this bag is not sitting kind of straight even when I do that, again, this is pre-loved. Someone else owned this bag for a number of years before I purchased it, so the bulk of the wear on this bag is from the previous owner. I say that because unfortunately I really haven't worn this bag too much, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to kind of point that out. So like the shaping of it, the wear around the handle areas, if you guys can see that, and then there's wear here, and then the logo is heat stamped on the front, by the way. You just can't really see it too well. Hopefully you guys can see it here. And if the lighting is changing at all, surprise, surprise, it's cloudy again. But once we get into the bag, I typically stuff it to try to keep as much shape to it as I possibly can, but I'm just gonna pull that out. The bag is for the most part just open, like really open. And then there's an inner pocket in the back, and you know, for your phone or anything you need to grab really quickly, but that's it. This bag is truly an open, endless bag. Now, to kind of give you more closure on the inside of the bag, it does have this like belt kind of situation similar to the belt bag, and then the longer tassels you have to like tie in a bow. I'm not about it. It's not convenient. It's a lot of work. So I don't typically use it, which I would call that a con for this bag, but that is the basis of the bag. And there are studded feet. They are black, if you can or can't see them. So my overall rating of this bag is an extremely generous 7 out of 10. I'm going to start with the cons because there's only one reason I'm giving it a 7, which is really good. So I want to start more so with the cons of why I don't particularly like this bag overall. So the first con that I have is the shape and its awkwardness. I think this is a really pretty silhouette in a bag, and I think it makes for a great standout piece to an outfit. It's just really awkward to use because of the shape of it. And I think like the smaller versions, because this bag comes in like 4 or 5 different sizes, but the smaller versions like the micro and the nano and the mini, they work out a lot better. They're not as awkward, but this one is just so large that it actually is awkward with the shape of it. Again, you could certainly stick the sides in, but it takes away from the functionality of the bag because the flap actually goes like truly fully to the interior of the bag. If you can see it here, like it's no longer open inside, which makes sense, but also again, if you're buying the bigger bag, you want the space, right? So it's just really awkward. Also has to do with the fact that there is no shoulder strap option. So it's either top handle or like crook of your arm. So it just makes it really awkward when it's this large. So my next con is the weight of this bag. So unfortunately, this bag really empty. This bag has absolutely nothing in it. No bobby pins, no hair ties. I don't even have a little like Celine card in here or anything. There's absolutely nothing in this bag, and it's already heavy alone. So when you start adding like your normal items, it becomes very heavy. It's harder to wear, or it's just not as pleasant to wear. And so between the awkward shape of it wearing it and then the heaviness, because again, you don't have a shoulder strap to kind of bear the weight more on your shoulder where you would be able to a little bit more nicely than top handle or like crook of your arm. So when they did the restructure, they fixed most of the weight problem there. But again, when they did the restructure, they also took this one out. So you don't really have a lighter weight option in this bag, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to purchase this. It is already heavy to begin with. I personally would not recommend someone who's walking across their school campus, or they're doing a lot of traveling for work or walking around for work. Yes, there's enough room to put a lot of stuff in here, but it is not comfortable to walk around with, unfortunately. Another con I would touch on is the price. So again, this is subjective. I am more so talking about the retail price of this bag. So fun fact, if you don't know this already, most of Celine's bags do not hold their value in the long run. You can find a plethora of Celine bags, especially the luggage bags, on the resale market for a lot cheaper. Same thing with the belt bag. I know the Triumph bags are super popular right now, so if people are selling them, they're not selling them for too much cheaper than you would find in the boutique. But most of the other bags that have been around for a while, or in general from Celine, just don't hold their value in the resale market. So seeing the resale prices that you see nowadays and plenty of years before, it just kind of turns you off from purchasing it in the store. Nothing wrong with purchasing in the store, but you get my drift. I'll go into specific pricing a little bit later in the video, but that was something that I found to be a con, because if I wasn't looking in the pre-love market or wasn't comfortable with it, and I was just going into the store and they still had this in the store, I don't think I would pay the retail price for it, just because of the functionality issues and not being able to wear it so much, aka get my money's worth. That's just me. Obviously it's subjective, but that's a con for me. And then my last con is that these bags, which it doesn't really affect me because I know what I'm doing, and it doesn't really affect most people nowadays because there are way more reputable resellers nowadays, but these bags are so hard to authenticate. So even with people like that have a good eye, you still have to be very, very diligent trying to authenticate this bag specifically. I think Celine overall is a brand that is harder to authenticate anyways, but I know this bag is like, there's a whole blogs about how hard these are to authenticate. I'm talking down to like looking at the heat stamp where it's placed, how big or small the font is, what type of font it is, etc., etc. They're a little bit harder to authenticate. So if you are somebody who is super like cautious, or you're like a skeptic about that kind of stuff, it's going to be harder for you to shop on the pre-loved market. Just something that I thought was a con overall about this bag in particular. Now we're going to move into the pros, because again, there is one specific reason that I gave this bag such a high rating, because the cons are outweighing the pros for the most part for me, unfortunately. So the first pro that I want to talk about is the space factor. This bag has a lot of space. Again, I really wish I could recommend this to those who need a really good everyday bag, or like a mom that needs a lot of space in a bag, that she can organize it to her own free will, because there is a lot of space to be had in this specific bag. It's just unfortunately really heavy and it's awkward. And if you are really interested in this bag and you're thinking about like how much space it has, the Phantom does have a lot of open space in here, a lot that you can do with it. The second and probably most important pro for me about this bag that keeps me at least wanting to wear it at some point is that for somebody with a really tiny purse dog, this is the perfect luxury bag. I feel like the only other bag that might be on the lines of this bag for like being able to carry all of my items, all of Celine's items, and Celine in one bag is probably the Birkin, maybe in like a 30, 35. But this bag, I mean, outside of, you know, Hermes, this bag is the one bag that I could absolutely recommend to anyone who's into luxury bags and is looking for something to carry their little purse-sized dog in, I should say. It really does have enough space. Going back to the space factor, it has enough space for everything to be in there comfortably. Now, in saying all of that, it's certainly not comfortable for me to carry. However, when I'm in situations where Celine's stroller is too bulky and I don't want to carry her in my hand because I have to carry other things, this bag is the bag that I will use. Sometimes I'll use her St. Argo dog bag, but usually I use this one. And I will go into more details about this in part 2, which I'm going to pack, but it is definitely a bonus and the main reason that I use this. Very rarely do I use this bag going to work, and that's only because I'm taking it from the car and setting it on my desk all day and then taking it, putting it back in the car. Otherwise, I do not wear this bag, unfortunately. It's beautiful, I love it, but it's just not a convenient bag to wear. Another pro about this bag for me personally, again, this is subjective, but if you are someone who, it doesn't even have to strictly be quiet luxury, because I feel like that term has become very cringy very quickly, but if you are into that, this bag is actually pretty good for that, especially the larger one. So what I mean by that is, if we're talking terms of people who are in the luxury community, research, wear, look at luxury handbags, they know what this bag is, right? People in the luxe community know what this bag is, who makes it, how much it costs, why it's so special, etc., etc. However, take, like, I hate to keep using this in most of my examples, but it's a really good example. Take the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. People who don't even wear or look at really luxury or designer goods know what a Louis Vuitton Neverfull is, and they know that it's expensive. They know all the goods about that. However, again, this bag, if you're not into like luxury bags or goods or just designer accessories overall, you're less likely to know what this is, who made it, why it costs so much, why it's special, all that good stuff. But it still looks like a really nice bag. And that leads me into my next pro, is that it's super unique. So there are bags that are made like with this similar silhouette. Demelier has a bag, Ralph Lauren has the Belleport bag, and again, there are plenty of other bags on the market like this. Polène, the Polène seam bag, is structured similarly to this, but this little like face, this little robot face bag on the front and the back, just overall, this specific bag is super unique, which is why it's easy to pick out if you know who makes it, right? Those are all of my pros and my cons. Overall, while I really do enjoy it and would highly recommend it for somebody who has a really tiny dog and needs to carry everything at once, I wouldn't recommend it for somebody who's looking for an everyday bag, a market bag, a school bag, a work bag, unless you're taking it very quickly from your car to the desk and back. Otherwise, this is not good for long wear. Like, I will take Celine out and walk around DC or like a big city with this bag. Do I enjoy it? Not entirely, because it's heavy and the sides, like if the side is out, it can get in the way in smaller spaces, but it is a lot more convenient than the stroller. So like I said, I would recommend it for very specific people. If you are interested in it, just take into consideration the things that I mentioned earlier in the video. It's just unfortunate that the cons really make it so that this bag doesn't really get worn very often. So jumping back over to the pricing, before this was discontinued, the retail price on this bag was $3,100 US. Again, euro conversions will be on the screen as usual, but you can get this bag on the pre-loved market for anywhere between $400 and $1,100 US, which even like the $1,100 ones, maybe $1,500. They are like brand new with tags, excellent condition, like hardly ever worn, if they were even worn. And that's still a really good price considering they were originally double that. So I would definitely check it out. If you're interested in it, you can probably find one for a good deal. This one obviously was not like new with tags or anything like that, which I'm fine with. I wasn't looking for a brand new one. But like I said, you can get a really good deal on the pricing. That retail price, $3,100, I don't think this is worth it. It's not steep in terms of how bags are priced today. Like if this bag was still available today after all the price hikes, this bag would probably be upwards of $5,000, which I definitely would not pay for this. I just don't get enough wear out of it to pay that much for it. I don't think it's worth it personally, but that's just my opinion. So that is everything I have for this bag. Really quickly, I know she's going to make her appearance in part 2, but for those of you that are interested, I will put a picture of Celine up on the screen. A couple photo shoots we've done before with her in this bag. Again, I solely use this bag for taking Celine out in it. And yes, it is very coincidental because I got Celine before I purchased this bag, and that's why her name has the accent over the E, because this was obviously before the rebrand and everything. Yes, she's named after Celine the brand, but I did not mean for this to be like the perfect bag for her. She will be in part 2. We'll talk all about that. That is all I have for part 1. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this content, definitely hit like. If you would like to see more, certainly hit subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.